Based on the Mazda RX-7, the ZR350 might be something you're only aware of from the Fast and Furious films. And yes, you can do Fast and Furious builds with this car in GTA Online, but why would you? This car was gorgeous without the stickers. So this is on offer this week in this week's GTA Online weekly update, but in real life and in the game, this is not a common car. I'm not sure I've ever seen one in a session before. So to look at why, we need a bit of an engineering lesson.
I can do science, me.
If you want to skip this, there's a time code down in the description. So what's the deal? Why is this car so rare? Well, it's an unusual car in that it has a wankle engine. Come on now. So, this wankle engine... Okay, it had a rotary engine. And if you don't know much about cars, here's a quick guide. So most cars have cylinders. Think of each cylinder like a bucket. You pour fuel and air in, set fire to it, like really quickly, and the explosion pushes a piston, which turns a shaft, and the shaft eventually turns the wheels. And then you can have some fun. The number of times the shaft turns gives you your RPM, or revolutions per minute. Low RPM is for grunt, so diesels, trucks, ships, basically shit stuff runs at low RPM. A diesel car, for example, will usually hit the red line at around 3 to 3,500 RPM. Now, high RPM is for speed and power, so your average shit car will hit the red line about 5,500, 6,000. A Porsche 911 or a Comet in the game will hit it at around 7,300. The Honda S2000 or the RT3000 in the game, with all its fancy electronics, will hit the red line around 9,000. The Hayabusa or the Hakuchu in the game will hit the red line about 10,800. And for reference, a V8 Formula 1 car from back in the day would hit the red line at around 20,000. So with a rotary engine like the one in the RX-7, you have one big bowl instead of cylinders. Into this you plop a little triangular rotor, which is connected to a shaft to eventually turn the wheels. So instead of cylinders, you have these little pockets that the fuel and air is dumped into. Stack a couple of these bowls on top of each other, and you have a very clever design for an engine that was very smooth, very high revving, small, and as it had far fewer moving parts than a standard engine, was very easy to work on. With the RX-7's innovative design, this car would redline at 8,300 RPM, and for a car as cheap as the RX-7, that is nice. That is very nice. It also made a very nice noise. And had a tendency to spit flames, and that's nice too. So if it's that good, why don't we all have cars with rotary engines? Well, there was a tiny flaw in the design.
It was bollocks.
These cars were cripplingly expensive to run and unreliable in the hands of all but the most hardened enthusiasts. So, on to the review. And now would be a good time to like and subscribe. We're getting close to 1,000 subs now, so if you like what you see, a like and a sub really does help me out. And starting with the looks, this is every bit as gorgeous in the game as it is in real life. As with all the other tuners' vehicles, it has great customization, so many options, you can really make this thing your own. Handling is definitely lively. You'll find yourself kicking the back out pretty often, but it's all controllable and it makes for quite a good fun drive. Now this does feel like one of the faster tuners' vehicles, and on balance it's definitely one of the better tuners' vehicles. But like many of the other tuners, the top speed is a little bit underwhelming. As ever, I'll pop the tested top speed in the top corner. So moving on to final thoughts, I actually think this is one to buy. Yes, there are much faster cars and there are much better handling cars, but with great customization and those looks, this is a must buy for any JDM fans out there, especially while it's on offer with this week's GTA Online weekly update. Now before I wrap this up, your channel needs you. I published the tracks that I use a few weeks ago, and I have just found out that these are platform specific. Yes, it was a little naive of me to assume it would be any other way, but anyway. Ideally, I want to provide these tracks for everyone that's watching the videos, so I'm looking for someone who can help me recreate these tracks on Xbox and PC. If you think you're able to help, I'll push your creations through the channel, I'll give you a shout out, I'll push people towards your channel if you have one. So if you think you can help, please do let me know in the comments and we'll pick it up offline. So back to the car, here's the time it managed to do. And here's where it sits on the lap board. And remember, before you go spending too much, we have a DLC coming. So a lot of these offers are designed to empty your bank account so that you have to buy a shark card in order to get the new bounty business that's coming. So just be careful with that money for the next few weeks. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you in the next one.